Hi everyone, hola a todos. Um, Today I'd like to talk about three myths I found, three myths about SaaS success that I've been struggling with when I was creating my first SaaS company from a small island in the middle of nowhere. This is me. I'm Carlos. I'm polymorphic on Twitter. I've been in business since 2000. At the beginning, I was a freelancer. Then I created a small company as contractor for other companies, and then I created my first SaaS business in 2004. I think was one of the first SaaS in Spain. I'm a digital nomad, part-time. I stay in Gran Canaria for the winter for obvious reasons, and then I travel everywhere during the summer. And I'm a tea lover fanatic. My project is Quaderno. It's an accounting automation tool for SaaS businesses. And basically what we do is we collect information from your payment processors, shopping carts, or even from your backend. And we process that information in order to generate the information you need for accounting and bookkeeping, for taxes, on that boring stuff, okay? We also generate finance metrics to take better decisions for your company. We have 150 customers all around the world in 38 countries. Right now we have a 23 case MRR, and we are only 6 people team. 4 of us are in Gran Canaria, 1 in Barcelona, and me, who is everywhere. And this is the last version which we launched a couple of months ago. If you are interested in testing it, trying it out, just let me know. I'll be glad to help you. Well, the first myth I struggled with was, well, if you want to create a successful SaaS business, you have to be based in one of these cool big cities where all things happen, you know, like San Francisco, London, Berlin, Barcelona, Paris, something like that. But I chose Gran Canaria, which is a small island close to Africa, far away from everywhere. And I chose it because, well, despite the fact I was living there, of course, there are some pros, like life is inexpensive, above all if you want to create a SaaS. So you can get a co-working space close to the beach for 100 euros a month, or you can pay a guy like 1,200 euros a month for a developer, something like that. So it was pretty cheap to create a company there. Because it's a special tax area inside the European Union, the VAT is 7% instead of 21% in the mainland, or the corporate taxes are 4%. And internet connections are great. In my co-working space, I have 300 megabytes up to fiber, and there's a pretty big engineering university. Of course, the weather is perfect, and the quality of life is great. So you can surf all the year along, and you can. But there are some cons, of course. There's no investors, no startup scene, or a small one, no networking events, and no big customers. So with these pros and cons, I decided to design my business. Okay, so I designed to create a remote business where I fix a global problem with a global solutions. It can be good either for a Spanish customer or US customer or German customer, right? So I focused on the SMB market because first, I couldn't reach to big customers, no corporate customers. And second, I wouldn't get enough money to invest in a lot of marketing to reach or to create a successful B2C business, right? And third, I designed a business where I wouldn't need extra money for at least this first 2-3 years. And yeah, that's where I created a business there. At the beginning, my first SaaS was an invoicing tool for freelancers. Was quite successful in Spain, and but I didn't get enough traction. So in 2014, I decided to take some of the technology I've designed for this business to create Quaderno and focus on the international market and accounting automation. So we start there and we finish all around the world. Okay, it's not a huge business with hundreds of employees or millions of revenue a year, but it allows me to live in the way where I want to live. And in my opinion, nothing is better than that. So the second myth I struggle with, well, if you want to create successful business, you have to get founded. It's the only way to create a big business. A couple of months ago, I read an interesting article by Clément Bouillon from Pond 9 Capital, which is called The Rise of Non-VC Compatible SaaS Companies. It's really interesting because in the last year, Clément has found that there are like 4 groups of SaaS companies right now. The first group is made up with funded SaaS, people who offer equity against money. Okay. The second group is bootstrap scaling SaaS company, those SaaS companies without VC money that have reached more than 10 million or ARR, which is pretty rare, and there's some companies like MailChimp or maybe Atlassian. The third group is bootstrap SaaS companies who have reached between 300K and 2 million ARR a year, and the fourth group is bootstrapped micro SaaS, 1,000K, 300K ARR a year. So the first group is limited by the capital available. The second group is pretty rare. Like it's the same, it's pretty rare for VC-backed companies as well to reach that amount of money. But the third and the fourth group have experienced an explosion in the last few years because more and more people are interested in creating, more and more founders are interested in creating a SaaS business to take full control of this business, to start thinking in growing smarter, not faster, and to start start looking for customers instead of money or funders. Or investors. But 10 years ago, when I created my first business, most people were obsessed. There weren't almost no bootstrapped SaaS businesses, but most of them, they were really obsessed with the funding. All founders were looking for funding. And the worst thing they could hear was, you are not fundable. It was like a death sentence for them. But they said, well, I'm not going to look for funding. Why? First, because I'm so far away from the VC. It's almost impossible or really difficult. Honestly, I don't know how to do it. And I want to be 100% focused on getting customers who are the best investors you can have to create your business. And that's what I did. So it was no easy at all at the beginning because sometimes you need that money to invest in more marketing or to hire more people. But the lack of money makes you more pragmatic and makes you to manage your priorities in a better way. And I know bootstrap companies are not so sexy as VC companies, but I can assure you that they can change the life of the founders and their employees for sure. And that's what I want. And the third myth was, well, if you want to create a great business, you have to work as much as possible. How many of you do you work 42 hours a week? More? 50 hours a week, like Mr. Lemkin, 50 hours a week. 100 hours a week, like Mr. Musk. No, it's too much, right? So it's curious because we all are working with technology. We live in a pretty technology environment, and we work every day, well, every year more and more. It has no sense, right? So, in my opinion, work is overrated. We should work much less and work smarter. I believe in efficiency, productivity, but I do not I don't want to go back to the industrial revolution where people worked 14, 16 hours a day, where child labor was fine. In some kind, we're going back there for some SaaS companies. So in Quaderno, we work 25 hours a week, 5 hours a day. That's it. And we've done this for the last 10 years. And nothing bad has happened, right? We were 5 hours, 5 really focused hours, no bullshit, no coffee breaks, no blah, 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 no meetings, no phone calls, just work for 5 hours. Try to work 4 or 5 hours in a row. It's a lot of work if you are really focused on that. And my people have time after work to go surfing, to meet their friends, to do whatever they want, to work in a side project, whatever they want. And every morning when they come to the office, they have a smile on their face because they have time to enjoy their life. And this is the point, right? I just want to work to live. I don't want to live to work. So, sorry for that. So in summary, what I say is, don't believe in myths. Just do whatever you want to do. Live whenever you are happy. Work smarter, not too many hours. Look for customers, not for investors, at least at the beginning. Enjoy the life. Thank you very much.
Has anyone got any questions for Carlos? I think we can take a couple. Was that the question? That was the one I was going to ask as well. Are you hiring? Are you hiring as in... No, it's no money. Okay. It's a good recruitment pitch. If SaaS went tits up, I was going to apply to Typeform, but Quaderno's now moved to the top of my list. So. Any other questions? Or we got one from Peter.
I just wanted to ask a bit more about how it was when you started the story. Exactly when you started, did you do it all completely on your own from the beginning? And how did you identify the business problem that you wanted to solve?
We were 2 people at the beginning. I was the developer, and I had one friend who was the designer. Well, I was the developer. I was and I am the developer and the guy for everything. Customer support, marketing, developer, everything. The problem, how we found the problem for our first SaaS was because at that moment I was a freelancer, so I needed an invoicing tool. I didn't find anything interesting in the market, so I designed my own tool, and I started selling it, and it was okay, it was fine. But as I said before, that the traction was not so good. It was a good business for 1, 2, maybe 3 people, but I want to create something a little bigger. So in 2014, I heard about the Stripe API. So I was thinking about mixing the technology I had to generate automatic invoices every time you make a charge on a Stripe. And that was the beginning. And that's the next step was to integrate PayPal and then Braintree and then Go Cardless and then Shopify and Amazon, a lot of integrations. So we have a billing API and we built a lot of integrations on top of that. And now we are focused on automation in general. So we have some customers like Marvel from London or Front from San Francisco who are sending thousands of invoices per month, and they need to automate the whole process as much as possible. They don't want to waste a lot of time every quarter in collecting all the information they need for their accountants. So it's a big pain for them. All the time they have to invest in things that are digital at the beginning, and then they become paper, and then they become digital at the end. So it makes no sense. So, any other questions?
How did your pricing model evolve over time? And how did your pricing model evolve over time, and how long did it take to get to break even?
It's already profitable.
From the beginning.
It took us 1 year to be profitable because we're growing pretty slow. I mean, I don't have money, so I don't have investors, so I cannot hire like 10 more people in a row, in 1 month. So I just try to administrate the money as smart as I can. So instead of hiring a lot of people, I try to change their priorities and see how I can manage the resources I have instead of using the easy way, which is the money.
Thanks. I thought it was a really inspiring story. I was curious about the 25-hour a week, because I think that's what we all would love. Do you also pay your employees a little bit less because they're working part-time?
No way.
So they're paid the same as if they were working full-time somewhere else?
A little bit less, but not too much. And at the beginning, as we didn't have this VC money, they invest their time as well. So the salaries at the beginning were not so big, but the promise was if we grow, we are gonna grow together. So now it's not a Barcelona salary, of course, because life there is much cheaper. But their current salary is higher than the average salary there. It's pretty good in my opinion, and it can be better, of course. So, one more thing.
Yeah.
One more thing. Go to SaaS Doc in September. Sure, it's one of the best events I've ever been. Alex and his team are doing a great job there, and I hope this year as well, for sure.
That's a good one more thing. Is there another one more thing?
No. And one more thing again. In November, I'm going to organize a SaaS conference in Las Palmas. Only 30 people. Drink, eat, surf, beach. Interesting people, interesting talks. If you are interested, the event is called Tropical SaaS, and the website is tropicalsaas.com. And just request an invitation. I would love to get you there. Say yeah.